This video is brought to you by Ground Rules. Stick around to hear more about the special offer they are providing for the entire professional community.
It's about soil.
Recently, as in very recently, a particular video went viral on YouTube about a browser extension called Hunt. Great video, by the way. Absolutely, you should go watch it.
Yeah.
Obviously, link it down below in the description. But it focused on a coupon savings application called Hunt,
Right.
which has now sponsored pretty much every single major YouTuber you've ever heard of.
Yeah.
I'm not going to list every single individual creator who fell for it right now, because a much better usage of your time is just go watch the original video itself. But the gist of it is that pretty much all of your favorite YouTubers have been vocally promoting a product called Hunt. Very few of them had any idea why that's probably a bad thing to do. Again, please do watch the original video. It's not really possible to fully summarize all of it with just a few sentences, but if I had to try...
The app was a scam.
The reins of that platform longer than CNS has been disrupting our broadcasts.
Done.
Honey bad, honey steal money, honey hurt creators without them knowing. That's basically it. Now, just to be fair, YouTubers very often get offered exorbitant sums of money to promote various products or services. So much so that I can't really blame them for sometimes
Not for the end user, for creators, I don't give a fuck. Cry. Go back and watch the original video. You only watch the clip. Watch the whole video.
looking red flags, failing to see warning signs during the process of due diligence. It happens to all of us, period. It just does. However, honey has now become a hot topic of scrutiny, largely because of how big it got before anyone caught the problem. Except in my estimation, that same problem is now attempting to be reborn, only this time potentially worse, coming from one of the same founders who is now threatening to middleman the entire YouTube advertising ecosystem, just like they middleman the world of affiliate marketing.
Well, I mean, if you're this guy, right? Well, you did it once. You might as well do it again. Yeah, he knows how to do it. He's already done it.
Today I want to showcase why the recently viral video exposing issues with the coupon code application Honey might just be the tip of the iceberg. How their new project Pi.org, from one of the very same co-founders, is attempting to demolish the ad revenue of everyday creators like me.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm so passionate about it.
That's real bad.
By invasively inserting themselves into the pipeline and siphoning off revenue for no other reason than we should just be a middleman.
So Twitch had this happen? Or like, so, do you remember when Twitch made that change and they said that streamers couldn't get their own ads? And then a lot of people got really mad about it? This was maybe like a year and a half ago, somewhere around there. This is what they were actually talking about. So if this ends up cannibalizing Google AdSense, I have a feeling that Google is going to figure out a way to make it stop working. You know?
The honey could be more so an early warning sign, and if left unchecked, these guys are going to do the very same thing again to every single industry they possibly can. Let's get into it.
Yeah, of course.
First things first, the service I'm talking about today, Pi, is apparently the registered trademark of a company called the People's Internet Experiment.
What is this fucking... What is this, China? The People's Internet Experiment? The fuck?
Their presence on the platform has been relentless, but will the shock and awe
Yeah,
manage to
I feel
keep
like this
it
is
going?
something like North Korea would... This is like, yo, North Korea is making internet. That's what they're calling it. Oh, P.I. People's Internet. But that's also stupid. That's so stupid. What is the...
Which is itself a California-based company whose key principal is one Ryan Hudson. Let's call him today's main character, I guess. Here's the thing. Ryan Hudson is the previous co-founder of Honey, along with a man named George Ruan. They seem to be pretty much bragging about on the Pi.org website, which is then even further...
They're bragging about it. They sold it for $4 billion fucking dollars. Bro, if I sold a company for $4 billion, I don't care if this company, I don't know, like...
Disrupting their tech!
I could think of a bad thing, but let's not. I'd be telling everybody about this. I'd be like, guys, did you know that? Yeah, okay.
Amplified
I'd be bragging,
by
yeah.
their Google
Nazi
advertising.
trains, yeah.
Turns out, after doing a pretty hefty amount of digging, refreshing pages, and keyword searching so that YouTube might finally serve me a specific advertisement that I was looking for again, because I remembered, well, no, wait a second, didn't that company say honey in the promo that they just showed me? None of it worked, by the way. I ended up finding this only because they're dumb enough to have an unlisted YouTube channel, which is running raw videos of the ads that they serve, with coded names and even the names of the creators who are advertising them directly in it. And from there, I tracked down the actual advertising content itself, which, if it now gets deleted, you're just going to incriminate yourselves worse, by the way, so don't do it. But yeah, it turns out that the People's Internet Experiment Incorporated is currently running about 300 different advertisements on Google AdWords. Now, to be clear, as per the advertisement that actually caused me to start looking at all this, Pi.org, the newly designed middleman ad blocker from the same founder as Honey. This new application isn't just aimed at YouTube. No. It's aimed at practically every single creator content platform on the internet. I'm not just trying to appeal to YouTubers right now. If you make music on Spotify, if you stream on Twitch, or any number of other content platforms out there online at the moment, this might very well affect you if they get a foothold in the business market. Anyway, here it is. And just to be clear, I'm playing this advertisement under the 4 pillars of fair use. Purpose.
He's immediately trying, because you know they're going to try to shut this down, bro. They don't want it to happen.
And character of the use, nature of the copyrighted work, amount or substantiality of the portion used, as well as the effect of the use on the potential market for or value of the work.
Yeah.
I know my shit. Don't fuck with me. Like the Hex token music losers, okay?
Ooh.
They lost. Anyway, the clip I'm about to show serves the purpose of demonstrating a critical
They had a rap concert for a crypto token? How can you be in that crowd and not know that you're an idiot? Like, you've got to know somewhere deep down inside, right? You've got to have, like, an idea, like, oh, man, maybe I'm a dumbass. They've got to have, like, right? I mean, they must.
And I have a copyright-skilled lawyer on my literal payroll for the purpose of shutting down desperate claims by scumbag companies. So just figured that would be worth saying. Here it is.
This is the only ad blocker I've ever used that works on YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify. This is Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that blocks ads everywhere you go online. And don't worry, it won't download a bunch of shit onto your computer like other ad blockers. Pi is a trusted LA-based company that's actually founded by one of the creators of Honey. The coolest part is that if you decide you do want to see ads, Pi will literally pay you for seeing them. Like, I made money just from this Google search. Good luck finding another ad blocker that does that. Speaking of things other ad blockers don't do, Pi also has a visual mode that lets you watch your ads disappear and see how much space you're saving. So if you
so you can,
want this to be the last ad you ever see, get Pi for free right now.
All right. You hear that?
Yeah, and so I don't really think that something like this could work, because, like, if you're a company, and especially if you're, like, actively... So, like, ad blocking is technically against the YouTube TOS. I think that if you're a company, because this is how Blizzard won a lawsuit a long time ago. So Blizzard won a lawsuit, this is like back 3,000 years ago, and I think it was in courts in Germany, but I feel like it would probably happen here as well, is that if you build your business around breaking terms of service and taking advantage of another person's business, they can shut it down. So I don't even know why they're doing this. I'm kind of surprised. The glider, it was for, was it glider or Honor Buddy? I forgot which one it was, but it was one or the other.
Trusted LA-based company blocking ads on YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, and quote, everywhere else you go online.
Right.
Which is, first of all, not possible. Not even the best ad blocking software can ever do that. But second of all, it's
Reloading!
to claim that this company will now insert themselves into the advertising process for pretty much every single major platform out there, and then pay the user if they want to see the ads. On the surface, yeah, sounds great. You, as in you watching this right now, the video, might be salivating at the idea of getting paid for the ads that you watch on social media because those ads are mercilessly wasting their time.
They are.
But think about it one step further. This company, Pi.org, cannot and does not have an official partnership with all of these different platforms. But even if they did, they do not, and likely could never, have a partnership with the individual creators.
True.
Which means that when you use this application and watch advertisements with it for the purpose of getting paid, you are doing the exact same thing that you would otherwise be doing, except this time, the only person getting paid is Pi. In essence, much the same thing that's happening with Honey, they seem to be stealing the revenue of everyone they possibly can, while making it seem like the end result is better for customers and viewers. But as a creator, that is point blank horrible. Before getting into the rest of it here, a lot of what I focus
Well,
on...
this is what happens, right? Is that and this is the issue that a lot of these people have, is that if you don't have ads on content can't really exist on the internet because there's no other way to monetize it. So if you're telling creators that they can't have ads and you're taking their money away, at a certain point you end up killing the content. Like, for example, we wouldn't have YouTube if YouTube couldn't serve ads. So there is a tipping point in which so many people are using ad blocker that YouTube can no longer function. And if that happens, I think that's bad for everyone. Now, is that going to stop me from using an ad blocker? No. But I realize that we can't have a world where everybody does it. It worked before. Actually, no, it didn't. YouTube was losing a ton of money, and then Google bought them, and Google was losing money on YouTube for the better part, if not a whole decade, until very recently, where Google actually started turning a profit with YouTube. Because I thought the same thing, and then I looked it up myself.
Content these days, aside from video games, is technology, sometimes politics, and media literacy. That last one is what really matters here, because in a social media dominated online landscape, media literacy feels like it's completely falling apart. To help with that, and also...
I don't think that's true. You know what's actually falling apart? Literacy. No media required. Just the whole thing.
Because it's a tool that I've edited for about 6 months before working with them, which I personally use in the production of certain videos. To help with that, we have today's video sponsor, which is Ground News. Ground News is a media aggregate service which notably cuts through bias and provides as much information as possible to readers. It works by gathering everything in one place, as well as marking key information like corporate ownership, allowing you to compare article headlines and overall content between different outlets. Right here, you can see the feed for a developing story right now about Alex Mashinsky, the crypto fraudster who just pled guilty on 2 counts with a maximum sentence.
Another one?
I'm reloading.
Wow.
Of 30 years. And for anyone who wasn't with the channel back in 2022,
That's crazy.
I actually got a cease and desist personally from Celsius Network because I was one of the first few people criticizing the fraud scheme. Not the first, mind you. That was a guy who goes by the name Dirty Bubble Media, who I interviewed a couple of times. Awesome guy. I was more like the second person. But then a few weeks later, after they cease and desisted me for calling out their fraud scheme, they went Chapter 11 bankrupt because it was a fraud scheme. And now the CEO is serving up to 30 years in prison. I'm going to take a massive W on that one. Regardless, if you follow the
got him.
story on Ground
Yeah,
News, there's
got 'em.
hour-by-hour updates, and if you go through and start actually reading these, which have all been gathered up nicely for you, there's always more information, much more information than you would otherwise have from any single source. There's a variety of other extremely valuable tools available on the website, like blind spot coverage or personal bias checkers, but for whatever reason you eventually decide, if you click the link down below in the description or scan the QR code to sign up, you'll get 50% off the Vantage plan, which you can even gift to someone else if you wanted to. Like if you know someone who's just constantly wrong about current events and lives in some kind of massive bubble, give it to them. Again, link down below, ground.news/echelon for 50% off a Vantage plan today. Big thank you to Ground News for sponsoring the channel. Okay, having said all of that, let me expand
I
on...
don't know if there's really a market for that or not, because I think that a lot of people want to... A lot of people want to live in their delusion, and they view fair representation as being biased. I think Twitter's a really great example of that. Everybody says Twitter is massively right-wing, but it's not. If you go right now, you'll find tons of posts that are Luigi simp posts that have hundreds of thousands of likes. It's not.
Something more specific here, because the fundamental premise of let me get paid for the ads that I personally watch is actually super appealing, despite the fact that it's impossible under the current business model.
I don't
Google,
think it's even
the
appealing.
largest advertiser in the world, I believe, has its own proprietary advertising pipeline.
AdWords.
Let's start with that. This pipeline serves an untold number of websites, millions of them, actually. But among those websites is YouTube. If you think about it, that sort of closed system is actually a monetary holy grail because it allows Google to receive ad dollars and then spend those ad dollars on its own platform. They take the money, they serve the ads on various channels.
That's what I always said about vertical integration. You want to see how money really gets multiplied? It's the people that get to keep it in the system.
Split the revenue with the creators who made the content that got the eyeballs, and then everyone goes home happy. Sounds good, right? Well, yes, except if an application like Pi were to become mainstream, it would then mean that YouTube is now taking in advertising dollars and just losing it because they can't serve it to the users, or if they do, it's wrong, unless Pi lets them serve it to those users, in which case they would now have to not only pay Pi themselves because it's a middleman business, but also the individual people using it. Make sense?
Yeah, they're effectively just saying, well, you know, there's 3 slices in this pie, and let's imagine if there were 5. And then 2 of those slices are the viewer, and then also pie itself. Yeah,
That's
no, it makes
very
perfect sense.
obviously not going to happen, but let's game it out anyways as if it were. What if we assume that Pi has an actual contract with Google? What if we assume Pi and Google are in it together, they want to make more money at the expense of everyday creators, which a lot of people would be completely willing to believe because Google doesn't exactly treat their own creators that well, but regardless. What if we then run the same sort of thought experiment? Pi is now the middleman. If a user subscribes to Pi, they get paid a fraction of the ads that they choose to see, which isn't going to be that many, because why would you watch ads for a fraction of what those ads are even paying, with the express intention of only watching those ads for profit, which defeats the entire fucking purpose of advertising to begin with, demonstrating a downward spiral of wasted human lifespans.
And then also, by the way, it diminishes the value of the advertising. Because if you're sending advertisers, if you're sending advertisements to people that aren't going to actually buy it, you're effectively wasting that person's money. Like, if you're an advertiser, everybody hates advertisers, so it's like, oh, it's okay to scam them. But whenever you really think about it, if you're a company and you pay for 1,000 views, and then those 1,000 views come from people that would never actually activate to buy your product, you're scamming them. You are. You're scamming them, and especially if you did it and you said these were the analytics, these were the demographics, and then it was something different. That's scamming.
And the rest just
bot views,
the rest of the ads just don't appear. That's less ads that Google can even serve. More importantly, it's more than likely a total loss of the revenue for every.
People say I don't really care. You don't know what's going to happen. If you don't care, do you think the advertisers are just going to go away?
Taking damage.
The Kingfish charted
No.
a course to the win this time on
They're
Power
just going to
Shift.
figure out
Thanks
better
again to our
ways to
sponsors,
integrate
Antelope
ads into
Zone.
content. And now it's going to be even more annoying. It's going to get even worse, and it's going to be even more prevalent because they're making up for the money that they lost. That's what's going to happen. And also, by the way, oh, well, then I'll just stop watching. Oh, yeah. You're going to stop watching? No, you're not. No, you're not. Nope. Not going to happen.
Single creator on any platform that ever participates. Remember their own videos, Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, and quote, everywhere else you go online?
Yeah.
Do we see the problem? Pi would become the middleman that only, period, only, hurts the creators of any platform it ever manages to work with.
Of course.
And if it even manages to work with one at all, that is to say, thereby decreasing the amount of content that gets created or produced, because it's a net negative impact on all creators. Just like its sister company, Honey, which has now been exposed for complex affiliate marketing, URL sniping, scamming, for lack of a better word, across basically every single major channel on YouTube, is a net negative for all creators. Also, adding this in postscript because it didn't make it into the first cut because of how rapidly I was working. They're doing the same thing again, guys. Like, they're doing the exact same shopping gives you cash back coupons bullshit again.
Well, I mean, if you went hunting and there was a buffalo and you shot the buffalo, if you go hunting again,
They're ready.
I'd go looking in the same place for another motherfucking buffalo. Run it back. Yep, do it again. It makes sense. Yeah, I got him $4 billion last time.
Teams must command the platform.
Now, they
to
might
reach
run
the
out of
home
buffaloes eventually, but maybe, hey, there could still be 2 buffaloes. Maybe there's 3 even.
Right? Like, exactly the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
It's the same people doing the same thing. I'll talk about the same people in just a second. It's the same. Okay? It's not just the ad thing, right? Getting paid for the ads or ad blocker. I understand how some people might disagree with that, right? It's just a continuation. This is a new company doing the same stuff the old company was doing because that company got sold to PayPal. So now the same people are using a new company to do the same thing that they were doing with the old company.
Right, of course.
Okay? It's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, people, that's not mind-blowing at all. People do this all the time in video games. Like, they'll level up a character, get the character to, like, a certain rank, sell the account, and then they level up another character, and then they level that character up, then they sell the account with the rank. It's simple. Yeah, it's just this is a $4 billion character, potentially. That's a lot of money. Could
Just
have
to be clear,
Scarabord or
Mega
something.
Lag has done an incredible
That's a
job
lot.
breaking the coconut wide open. Looking at Honey, various YouTubers, and even hinting at some sort of larger plot that damages multiple businesses. But Pi.org is a currently blooming offshoot of that problem.
Of course.
From quite literally one of the same people who created Honey.
Yeah,
And just to quote Mega Lag,
they know
himself
how
here,
it works.
nobody is talking about it. For anyone who's not quite convinced on the continuity of it all, though I can't imagine who wouldn't be at this point, the number of listed team members for Pi.org on the official website stands at 25. Of those 25, including operations, partnerships, as in people who get YouTubers to talk about them favorably,
They're the-
engineering,
yeah.
growth, product, and data, 18 of them are former employees of Honey. When I tell you
Back in action.
Kingfisher now
If we
on a
did it
mission to
once,
move
we
the
can do it
platform.
again. Who's ready for another $4 billion, boys? Let's do it again. Let's run it back.
that the
Yeah.
quote, scam
Could it be any
unquote,
more obvious?
that everybody is talking about right now across pretty much all of YouTube. Millions of people are talking about it now, actually.
Yeah.
When I tell you that the problem has simply moved, I mean it. This new company is the same fundamental premise, that is middlemaning revenue with
Yeah.
mass advertising as an underpin. It is the same founder, the same development team, and they are currently pursuing advertising with the same sort of underlying techniques.
Of
If you
course.
look at the advertising
It
that they're
worked.
putting out there now under
It
their
worked,
Google
of course
advertising
they are.
right account, their
Duh.
verified account. It's the same stuff that they're putting out there, or sorry, were putting out there for Honey, right? They're just going to do it again. Because those techniques, quite obviously, work. Honestly,
Yeah.
not good. As a final sort of plea here, we can be reactive, which is fine.
Taking damage.
It's the only reason I'm even
Gotta reload.
making this video in the first place. But we can also be proactive when
Enemy down.
opportunity arises.
Yeah.
And with the reactive realization that Honey could possibly be a massive affiliate marketing scam, I wanted to jump in and talk about a proactive possibility that Pi.org is attempting to become, with a lot of advertising coming down the pike real soon, the exact same thing, only potentially worse.
Well, there's
Regardless-
never a way that Pi can improve the experience above what Google can. Like, there's a reason why people think Google was going to take over the world. It's because their analytics software, the only people that probably have better analytics software is, I don't know, America, China, Russia, and maybe Mossad. Maybe there's a place in Europe too. And I bet Google might even be on par with that. The Google Analytics software and like you know, like data, like profile matrices,
Reloading.
it's insane.
Got him.
Reviving here.
Of what happens next, I appreciate the work of Mega Labs because that work and whatever comes of it here forward is the only reason that people like me are even giving
AWS
any
is not even
support to this.
close.
And it's also the only reason that proactive instead of reactive efforts might be taken in the first place. To be fair, I don't exactly know what those efforts might be, at least at this point in time, I am not explicitly not saying that we should just blindly cancel this company and hate on every single thing they do on impulse. But I do think they need to come out with a pretty crazy detailed description and explanation of how Honey works, how Pi works, how they made it, why they made
I
it.
don't think you really need to explain it at all. I mean, they made one scam company, they're gonna do another one. What the fuck? I mean, I don't need to get scammed twice. Fuck, I get scammed one time. You know, what's the thing? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, never get fooled again.
Look at that move. The shock
We know what's going on. They're just doing the same thing.
It, how they profit, and pretty much every single other thing they can possibly think of in the same sort of arena as those questions. Because they certainly do not deserve the support of social media creators outside of their own ability to explicitly earn that support with a valid and beneficial product.
Sure.
Which right now, Pi.org and also
Going for the
Honey
revive!
does not seem to have or be. That's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. Monthly memberships, locals and Patreon, video sponsor, of course, Ground News, great service, special deals, merchandise, social media, etc., VPN deal. But I'll cut
I
it there.
love the fact that he basically just aborted this company before it even got off the ground.
Stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. Question
It's
everything.
so fucking
and
funny.
have a nice night.
It's just hilarious. Oh my god. Wow. Infinite money glitch? Yeah, I guess so, right? And, man, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on, can't get fooled again. I don't know what to say. Watch new Unreal Graphics controversy? I don't know what that is. I'd have to see it. I have no idea. Ground News exposed. Well, I feel like everybody thinks a bias is when I get disagreed with, okay? Create fraudulent service, sell fraudulent service, create fraudulent service with extra features, repeat. Hey, I mean, if I was them, I would say, well, let's see if we can do the same thing again. There's the video. This is really, really fucking good. I didn't even know this was happening. I had no idea about this company, and I guess now I wonder what the people that are working at the company are thinking. Like, you know what they're gonna have to do? They're gonna you know what they should do? They should make a third company and call it Cake. And then basically just do the same thing with the same people, but now it's a different net. Yeah, you rebrand, or cream, yeah, ice cream or something like that. And like just come in, what's the scam
get
here?
airborne.
Well, they're trying to middleman and take other
Clear,
people's revenue
using
away
defense.
without giving it to creators or the companies. So basically they're trying to co-opt websites and effectively remove the way that they're able to monetize and then monetize the website on their own with like cookies and stuff. And so yeah, Zero Power Company, exactly, right? And so that's really it.
The Kingfisher now advancing forward with purpose.
The biggest MMO scam ever. Ever.
The arrival of Kickstarter and the unfulfilled desire for exciting new MMOs combined with Unreal Engine's capability to make absolutely
Looks very
anything
nice.
look beautiful was the perfect formula for the introduction of MMO scams into the world.
Absolutely.
Today we're going to talk about the 5 most interesting MMO scams to exist so far. We'll talk about how they came to be and perhaps most important,
Can you imagine if this guy put Ashes of Creation on the list? Oh my god, people would lose their fucking minds.
where they are now. Was it malice or ignorance that led to millions of dollars disappearing while having nothing to show for it? Which ones went to jail and which ones got away with it?
Probably
and
all of
were
them
we
got away
wrong about any of them? Let's find out. First up, Chronicles of Illyria. This was another fascinating one to follow, with a story that's going to start to sound very familiar as we go through this list. It
Okay.
all starts on Kickstarter, led by a man named Jeremy Walsh.
Right.
Was it malice or ineptitude that caused this to play out the way that it did? Let me know down in the comments what you think. It all starts on September 18th, 2015. The first screenshot was shared on the company's Twitter feed. Remember what this looks like. It's going to be important because this
Hand shot? Hand size? Who the fuck wants hand size? Foot size?
is not what was delivered. Then, ironically, on April 1st, 2016, the first gameplay footage is shown in a video titled Meet the Team. Again, remember what this footage looks like.
Yeah,
Then-
this is this footage is from Elder Scrolls 3, I think. It was Morrowind.
On May 3rd, 2016,
Came out a long
Soulbound
time
Studios
ago.
announces its long-awaited Kickstarter campaign asking for just $900,000 and promising
small loan
this.
of
Aging,
$900,000.
Dying, and Souls, an epic 10-year storyline invites you to experience your character over multiple lifetimes. With each life, you will develop your character and make your mark in the chronicle.
Bro, that sounds
When your
morbid as
character
fuck.
eventually dies, their soul will be reincarnated stronger than
I don't
before,
wanna do that.
and their
That's
spirit and
weird.
destiny will live on in another character of your making.
What
the
the
game being
fuck?
described was on a scale never before seen. It was going to have every system and feature that you've ever wanted all rolled into one
Yeah,
map.
I mean, that's just like the best idea, right? Because, like, why have only some good systems? Let's just have every good system, and that way we'll just make everybody happy and it'll be perfect.
We'll see you next time.
Massive MMORPG, or at least that's what they told us.
Of course.
And apparently it worked. Just 1 month later, on June 3rd, 2016, they hit their Kickstarter goal,
They
with
have.
4 people going as far as donating $10,000 each so that they would be considered royalty in the game. At
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Who would do that? Oh, man. Like, it's like we can call these people dumb, right? But, like, there's plenty of people that spend this kind of money on gotcha games, too. So it's, like, really not that big of a surprise. Like, I think that's kind of just, like, normal. Established titles. Yeah, but that wasn't as much money, to be fair.
this point in 2016, Soulbound Studios claimed they would have the game in players' hands in just over 18 months. Not
In 18 months? Wasn't this, like, 4 years ago?
finished, but at least in a playable state. After raising $1 million on Kickstarter, Jeremy announced the game would continue to raise money on its own personal website.
That makes
and
sense.
raise money it did, to the tune of over $8 million. As the deadline for the game
Bro, I need to make an MMO. I need to do this. This is such a good idea. Like, that's such a good idea. And then you just take everybody's money and then you disappear. And you don't make the game. That's like the... Or maybe you could make the game, but it's really bad, and you actually only spend like $1 million making the game, and you pocket the other $7 million.
game approached in 2017, Jeremy announced that the game isn't going to meet the deadline he had promised due to their
Oh.
inability to attract talented developers.
Yeah.
The first sign that
I
things
wonder why.
really weren't going well. Fast forward to 2018, when everyone was originally expecting the game to be
Look
in a
at that
playable.
gameplay.
Fast forward to
Look at this.
2018, when everyone was originally expecting
One more,
well.
one more.
Fast forward to 2018, when everyone was originally expecting the game to be in a playable state, and it was not. In
Yeah.
fact, no one had any proof that there was a playable game at all. No member of the public had played a single minute of it. Later in that year, November 2018, with over $6 million in funding secured, people were beginning to worry about the future of the game. They
Yeah.
noticed it had been nearly 2 years since they saw
Wow, look at that. Is this RuneScape 3? I never even saw the game. I've only watched OSRS. So I've never seen... So this is RuneScape 3. Holy fuck. Wow, it does look a little bit better, huh?
any new footage of the game. Surely, with millions of dollars and years of work put into the game, there must be something impressive to show. Almost another.
Well, they have the belt. Look, they literally have the guys. What the hell happened to the back of his head?
All eyes on the arena. It's go time.
What the hell is this?
Another year passes by, and on September 6, 2019, the first gameplay footage since 2017 is released.
Wait,
Remember
wait,
when
wait,
I
1
teased
second.
the first gameplay?
Control and all that progress can be reversed quickly. Enemy over there.
Go to the platform now.
Footage since 2017 is released. Remember when I told you to remember what the original gameplay footage would look like? This is what backers thought they were getting. No, it's what they were told they were getting. And
Oh,
this
that's-
is what they got.
Oh my god.
To say that fans were disappointed would be an understatement of a lifetime. The game was now 2 years past its initial
Wow.
planned delivery date and 8 times over budget, and
Look at
this was
that
all they had to
game.
show for it. This was the result of 4 years of development.
Dude, imagine watching the Unreal 5 tech demo and then thinking, bro, I donated $10,000. I can't wait to have my own castle and have it look like this. And the game comes out. And then it's this.
It feels like the
and millions of dollars of backer
I'm a
money.
founder,
It's here
guys.
where most of the backers soured on the game, some going as far as to threaten legal action against Soulbound. On March
Yeah.
11th, 2020, the Settlers of Illyria event. Remember when I told you to remember what the original gameplay footage would look like? This is what backers thought they were getting. No, it's what they were told they were getting. And
Oh,
this
that's-
is what they got.
Oh my god.
To say that fans were disappointed would be an understatement of a lifetime. The game was now 2 years past its initial planned delivery date and 8 times over budget, and this was all they had to show for it. This was the result of 4 years of development.
Dude, imagine watching the Unreal 5 tech demo and then thinking, bro, I donated $10,000. I can't wait to have my own castle and have it look like this. And the game comes out.
drop one.
And then it's this.
Taking damage.
And millions of dollars of backer
I'm a
money.
founder,
It's
guys.
here where most of the backers soured on the game, some going as far as to threaten legal action against Soulbound. On March
Yeah.
11th, 2020, the Settlers of Illyria event would
They should have a cosmetic for the founders, and it's one of those hats with a propeller on it. It says royalty on it.
take place as
Oh
a
my God.
free alpha event to allow participation in a 45-day test of the
The
game.
clown mask,
Of
yeah.
course, this
The little
pre-free
red
alpha
nose.
test included massive microtransactions to allow players to spend hundreds or
Wait,
even
wait, wait, what?
pre-free alpha tests included massive microtransactions to allow players to spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars buying plots of land within this unfinished game. If
There you go. Buying land in an unfinished game. You know, people used to do this. They would sell land in Florida, and they had to make a law against selling land on the moon because they kept doing this in real life too. Like, most online
Lighting
scams
things up.
were real life scams until somebody made a law against it.
Refuse to let go.
they wanted. Amazing. It was a disaster. Players were not happy. And now, with a much more realistic idea of what this game was going to be, the funding for the game stopped coming in. In an event that
I
was
wonder
only
why.
surprising to the backers with their heads 6 feet under the sand, on March 25th, 2020, Soulbound announced the studio would be shuttering. On April
But to our great sadness, with the failure of Settlers of Elria and 5 long months of only limited crowdfunding revenue coming in, Soulbound Studios has officially run out of money. Last night, I was forced to do something that I never thought I would have to do. I closed the online store, put Settlers of Elria map back into read-only mode, and laid off all the employees. And after that, I booked my trip over to Cancun with my $8 million, and I'm on to the next stage of my life.
Get ready for teleportation.
6,
Teleport
2020,
here.
however, there was an
Raising a
about
shield.
face
Going
due to
up
threat
there.
of legal consequences.
going up
An
there.
FAQ appeared on the COE website stating that the game would very much be released and
Oh,
that they did not want to
yes, I
comply with
remember
shutting
this.
down. This was
Oh,
likely for
yeah.
legal reasons, as they had promised to deliver a game in exchange for the money they'd collected. To simply state that the game wasn't coming without refunding any of the money could leave them vulnerable to some legal action.
That's true. So they have to technically make a game. Now, is the game going to be any good? No, but it will be a game.
In for a wild ride.
It could be Tetris or Minesweeper, but it is a game.
With angry backers undeterred by this promise, on August 17, 2020, a class action lawsuit was filed demanding that
is.
Soulbound refund the money for the game
Smart.
they failed to deliver.
Absolutely.
Soulbound would decline the demands to refund the backers, so on
No refunds. No refunds, gentlemen.
February 3rd, 2021,
Yeah,
the case
define
was legally
game.
filed in court.
Yeah.
Around the same time, Illyria was posting a couple of videos a month about the progress of the game, probably to appear as though they were still working on it. So where's the game now, 2 years after all of that?
I'm
And
sure
how did
there's
the
2 more
lawsuit
update
end?
videos.
Going
Was
things
justice
up.
served? Was the people's money returned? Was anyone held accountable for the complete mismanagement of the funds?
No.
Well, I wish I could say that the court laid the law down on this man in this practice of taking people's money without the realistic possibility of being able to deliver what was promised. I wish the
But-
court case had sent a signal to would-be Kickstarter scammers, but unfortunately the lawsuit was dismissed and Walsh escaped with everything except for his reputation. He's now
Oh, he only has $8 million. Oh, bro, like, oh.
working on a completely different game and a completely different engine known as Kingdoms of Illyria. My guess is this game has as much of a chance of turning into a polished finished product as Kingdoms of Illyria. He's now working on a completely different game and a completely different engine known as Kingdoms of Illyria.
Taking control.
I honestly think that you shouldn't be able to sue him the second time. You should have been able to sue him the first time. But like at a certain point, like how much due diligence does somebody have to do before they just decide to light their own game on fire or light their own money on fire?
My guess is this game has as much of a chance of turning into a polished finished product as Chronicles of Illyria. Whatever you do, don't give Jeremy Walsh another dime of your money for a game that isn't yet complete, because it's probable he's selling you a bridge to nowhere. I'm not saying don't buy his game when it's finished. I'm just saying don't buy it.
Well, I would assume that whenever it's finished, it's not really finished. They're just selling it.
I'm right there with you, Scotty.
Yeah, so like, I mean, they're not, it's not the finished game, they're just selling the game now.
His game until it's finished, which is actually fantastic advice for any of the games on this list today. Next up, we have The Day Before. But first, a word from today's sponsor. Crasher Nirvana is an amazing martial arts fantasy MMORPG mobile game that was just released. In this game, you will play as a warrior and experience a vast open world with immersive graphics. There are
How does a mobile game have this, but the Chronicles of Illyria couldn't figure it out for the PC? How's that possible? Like, you guys ever think about this for like 3 seconds? Like, how is it possible we got a mobile game looks like this, but the PC games look like shit? Like, what happened?
7 classes and roles within the game, each with specific skills, weapons, and appearances. In the exploration of the vast open world, you can fight with monsters and bosses in different maps and scenes to acquire materials to learn martial arts, upgrade your weapons, and practice your successive attack skills. If you get bored with your first character, you're free to change your profession. Not only that,
Looks better combat than Wu Long.
you can also turn into a demon. A demonized player has a completely different appearance along with more powerful abilities. In the process of completing tasks, you will encounter a variety of NPCs and constantly delve into the character storyline. The game also features a deep PvP and guild vs guild system where you can team up with friends to fight together and challenge yourself with more special side stories. The game
I love how like a lot of these mobile games just invent these numbers. Like, what's your power level? 136 million. Oh, so it's pretty low then. You know, most normal players are up to 1 billion now.
And there it is.
also adds an intriguing social system that allows players who prefer interpersonal relationships to quickly make friends, find love, and get married to other players in-game. So be sure to check out this unique
That escalated
MMORPG
quickly.
within a gorgeous
Oh
and
my
mysterious
God.
setting. Log into the game now and get 200
What?
consecutive draws for free. It's highly possible for you to get rare drops, pets, and skins, so download
I
it now
bet it
using the
is.
link in the description below and use my code
It's Ninetales.
GIFT2023 for epic rewards. Thank you for listening, and now let's get back to the video. This is the most recent possible scam to be added to this list, and I say possible scam because it's not really confirmed yet.
I do not think that I have seen sufficient evidence that the day before is a scam. I actually don't think so.
Get to cover. Threat detected.
This
Up
story
there.
starts in January of 2021 when a developer known as Fantastic dropped the trailer for their upcoming title, The Day Before. It was announced as an open-world survival MMO set in a deadly post-pandemic America that has been overrun by flesh-hungry infected. It caught massive attention. The public was incredibly excited for this idea.
Oh, yeah.
So
People
they
love
announced that on March 31st, 2021, they would
People have always wanted a survival shooter, like MMO FPS game. And people have wanted this ever since like the 2000s. And there were a couple of attempts at it. Like right now we have Destiny. I think that's probably the biggest game like that. But besides that, you've also got fucking, what's that other game? Planet Side 2. Yeah, there it is. The Division. Yeah, a few more. But like nothing has like really hit. Holy shit. Oh, yo, what's up, boys? Thank you, Shy Lily, for the raid. Thank you very much. Oh my God, wow. Thank you, guys. We're watching a video about games that are fucking scams, or at least they might be
Here's some
scams.
cover. They got
show everyone
thank you
some
very much.
gameplay footage. The day before it was set to air on March 30th, they ended up delaying the trailer a week due to
Right.
technical problems. The new airing date would be a week later, April 6th, 9 a.m. And so on April 6th, everyone tuned in and were met
Okay.
with a starting soon screen. They would watch this screen for over 9 hours until the stream was finally shut down.
What?
So on April 6th, everyone tuned in and were met with a starting soon screen. They would watch this screen for over 9 hours until the stream was finally shut down. On
Bro, that reminds me of that girl. Oh my fucking god, that girl, Taylor, fucking, she has like a French last name or something like that, and she would just stand off the camera. Oh, rocking, yes, yes.
April 9th,
0.1
2021,
seconds.
13 minutes of gameplay was finally revealed. The 13 minutes of gameplay looked great as far as everyone could tell. It would look so great that the game
Are
would
those
become the most
pineapples?
wish-listed game on Steam, over top of games from AAA studios like Spider-Man, Stalker 2, and even Bethesda's Starfield.